Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Manarino. Yeah, it's really me, and sometimes I can't even believe it myself. Look, this is my post-market wrap-up on this Thursday, November 4th, 2021. People, a lot of stuff to cover with you here, but let's start off with the basic nonsense, and it is nonsense. It's actually unbelievable, but let's talk about it. New record highs, people, yet again. S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell under a slight amount of pressure. In fact, I would call it flat. But there are certain things going on right now that we need to pay attention to. Nothing to worry about at all, people, because I'm promising you right here and right now. And I think I've nailed this market to the wall for a very, very long time. Market's going higher, and it's going much higher. Okay, as long as this new paradigm stays in place, I mean, the economy here in free fall, the economic news just keeps coming in bad and worse. As long as that mechanism stays in place, the stock market will go higher. Okay, I also explained to you there's something else going on underneath this. What is it? A new demographic is emerging. Okay, I have explained to all of you, I don't know, for a decade, we're marching into a new feudal system. Okay, extreme haves, extreme have-nots, middle class is getting exterminated, systematically wiped out. So with that in mind, we need to rethink a lot of where we're going in the future here. It's going to be interesting to see a society with no middle class. This was the norm for thousands of years. Okay, this three-tier society is a new thing. Okay, the men that built this country, they wanted to get away from that tyrannical system of being ruled by a king or a queen and having serfs serve those above them. Literally, serfs were slaves to the land, and they had to serve their masters. Now that's happening again in this new America, and it's sweeping the entire world. It's something I've covered for a very, very long time. I think you're well aware of this. And I want you on the right side. I really want you on the right side of this whole thing. And no matter, there's a lot of avenues to get to the upper tier here of this new two-tier society. Staying on the right side is, from a financial standpoint, is key. Understanding where we're going is key. Realizing the mechanism behind all this and how nothing is being done about it. Okay, just distractions and lies and propaganda and trusting in plans that were never going to happen. Trust isn't enough. Okay, action needs to be taken, like I said, during that whole trust the plan thing, which was the most laughable piece of dog shit nonsense, misguided propaganda I heard in the history of the world. All it did was lull people into a sense of complacency, just like it was supposed to do. It was a psyop, and millions of people bought into it. But that's what happens. Mass brainwashing on an epic scale. And this is not the last time. There's going to be more of this. Any one of you who are still locked into that are trusting any kind of a plan, snap out of it. Go in the mirror and smack yourself across the face as hard as you possibly can. You got to break out of it. Okay, you want to make a difference? Let it start with you. Don't trust in a darn thing. You understand? No one individual, period, the end. I think you get it. Anyway, let's move forward here. So we got new record highs today, like I said, S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow, a fractional loss here. What else is going on? The dollar got markedly stronger today. The relative value, people, the relative value of the dollar got stronger. Looking at the Dixie. Look, we're in a currency free fall around the world. We're in listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to say this again. We are in a currency free fall around the world. And this issue of inflation here, it's not just limited to the United States. This is a global phenomenon that has been allowed to manifest itself, and it's in our face, by the controlling entities of the world, which is the central banks of the world. You understand? Okay? It's not any one leader's fault. Again, those of you that are still locked into the Democrats, Republican system, you're all brain dead, brainwashed. Get out of it. Don't matter anymore. The system's dead and buried. Okay, this is a completely new thing, and you knew it was coming. Why? Because I told you it would be here, and here we are now. Anyway, so this is a phenomenon of inflation, and it's interesting. What did we hear? What are we hearing now from the Bank of England, and the European Central Bank? They're trying to play up the transitory narrative, just like the Fed did. Okay, now the Fed's kind of snapping out of it a little bit. Now the Fed is admitting, yeah, we have surging inflation, but it's going to, Powell yesterday, he said it's going to normalize, okay, once the economy adjusts. What does that even mean? You explain that to me, okay, because it's above my pay grade. It's just all dog shit. You understand? Inflation is going to surge much, much higher, and these central banks around the world are going to try to sell another lie. They're going to sell another lie, people, and some people are going to buy it, okay? You know, look at energy prices soaring. Oh, that's the reason. Oh, it's supply chain issues. It's whatever it might be. No, it's the central banks. And they're doing it by design. At their core, they want to create more inflation. They want to buy more assets as well. Period. You know all this. At least I hope you do. If you're new here to this blog, I welcome you. I just hit 190,000 subs. Thank you, all of you. You know, look, we're a team. This is not Greg Manarino's thing, okay? This is all of our thing. We are responsible for each other, and we got to make it work. That's what we got to do. You want to make a difference in the world, let it start with you and then let it bleed out. That's what I've tried to do with this blog here, okay? I want people to understand what's going on. And then I want them to take what I say, research what I say. Don't believe anything I am talking about, okay? Pretend that everything I'm saying, you know, is possibly wrong. Research it. I want you to look it up for yourself. And then take action. Okay, wow, you know what? Greg was right when he said this. Maybe I should do this. You know, don't just sit there like a deer in the headlights and do nothing. You must take action. People, that's what I'm talking about here. Okay, like I said earlier, you know, trusting in a dog shit plan that was never going to happen. We all knew that. I mean, any of us with one fraction of a functioning brain cell knew there was never any plan. Okay, this was just a psyop to get people to believe that there was a plan and that they had some kind of ruling entity, almost like a godlike figure, that was going to make everything good for them. Well, how did it work out? Well, it didn't work out, just like I said it wouldn't at the time. But I got laughed at and ridiculed, and, you know, he who laughs last. I'm not laughing at anybody, all right? I tried to help people back then to understand that they were being led to the slaughter. It was a distraction. They had no chance of anything. There was no plan at all. And you got to take action yourself, okay? That's what it's all about, taking action yourself. Don't sit and wait for someone else to do it. Don't trust in any plan. You want to plan something, you execute that plan. You understand? That's how it works. Anyway, let us move forward here, people. So we found, that's more economic news that is just absolutely abysmal. Are you ready? And it's no surprise. It's no surprise to you what I'm about to tell you. So the U.S. trade deficit surges to an all-time record high in September of $81 billion. And we're not done. Debts and deficits are meant to continue to surge higher, along with everything else. You understand? That's the way it's going here right now. Let's talk about this market a little more in depth. If you notice, like J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, the banks sold off a little bit today. What's this all about? Okay. Well, it's very, very, very simple. We understand what the Fed is doing. The Fed is in a situation here where they're going to continue to buy assets and keep rates suppressed from here to kingdom come. In a rising rate environment, banks would do better. So the banks here fell under some pressure because it realized the Fed has no intention whatsoever of raising rates in any meaningful way anytime soon. They're going to continue to buy assets with their product, a product that they create magically out of thin air. Again, they didn't taper anything yesterday. You listening to Steve Leisman today on CNBC? Steve Leisman is probably the most, he is a brown noser of the Federal Reserve to the highest order. That is the truth. The Fed can do no wrong in his eyes. Now, he's trying to sell you today on CNBC, oh, the Fed, they're cutting back on asset purchases. This is a lie. This is an absolute lie. All the Fed did yesterday, and you know it if you've been watching this blog since yesterday, is lower their minimum asset purchases per month. There's no cap. That's all they said is that, we're gonna lower this, but they're not tapering a darn thing. They're gonna continue to buy assets at a record pace. All right. And that's going to keep rates suppressed. It hit the banks a little bit today. Now, I'm telling you right now, I sent this out in my free newsletter. People, if you have not subscribed to my free newsletter, you are missing out on a lot of stuff. Okay, it's free. It's literally free. There's a link in the description of this video. Earlier today, I told people, yet again, buy the banks. This is my opinion. You do your own research, but banks are going to do very well moving forward. Okay, the big banks. I'm talking about JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America. You want to own these things, and they're going to pay you to own these stocks. They're going to pay you a dividend as well. All right. Anyway, so again, going back to the bad economic news, debts and deficits are going to continue to surge. Record high, record high. There's no surprise, absolutely at all. Let me just cover this real quick because it frightens me a little bit. There are people writing to me today that want to short this market. I wish you all the luck, really, that you can possibly, I could possibly bestow on you, okay? What you should be looking to do here is buy the dips. If you think that you're slick enough to get in here and pick tops and or bottoms, well, I'm here to tell you one big thing, and you might not like it, but you're not smart enough, okay? I don't care who you think you are. You're not smart enough to do this. Sure, you may get it right. Once in a while, it may work out for you. But over the long run, picking tops and bottoms is a loser's game. Okay, and I'm here to help you. I don't want any of you to lose. You understand? I am working as hard as I possibly can to keep you on the right side of this freak show. And it's a freak show of the highest possible order. And it gets even freakier every day. You know that. I would suggest not shorting this market right now. I'm not saying, look, energy, let's look at energy real quick. Crude oil today, WTI, it's at 79, about $79 a barrel right now. This is no real surprise to you because I told you we were kind of due for one. I hate saying that, due for it, okay? I used those exact words recently. Is crude done falling here? I don't know, and I frankly don't really care, okay? I really don't care. Nothing makes sense in this market anymore. It's really the truth here. Crude oil has no business being here. I can't stress this enough, okay? It's in la-la land. It's being artificially propped up, and you all know that to keep the stock market propped up. If we get a sell-off in crude oil, it's going to get bought up. After, let's see, a refinery fire just magically happens, a false flag just, happens to occur, a U.S. missile strike on some Middle Eastern base out there, that'll just miraculously happen too, and then crude oil will just go back up. This is a game. This is a game, and this is how they play it, all right? So if crude oil falls, like I said recently, could you imagine if it fell into the 60s yet again? I mean, you would see bombings, refinery fires, terrorist attacks, missile strikes. You'd see it all. It would be incredible. And then all of a sudden it would go away once, crude gets back up. Because once crude oil is high like it is right now, none of this stuff happens. It only happens when crude drops. Nothing is what it seems to be, people. I really want you to understand the world that you're being led to believe you are in is nothing like it really is. Nothing like it really is at all. All right, it's so crazy, but it's absolutely true. Anyway, going back to that, if in fact energy falls, like I've told you a million times, it's going to pull the stock market with it. And what would that do? It would be a buying opportunity, people, because the easy money is not going to stop. If you, for 1 nanosecond, believe that the Fed is actually going to taper something or stop buying assets or stop suppressing rates, well, then you're deluded. You've lost your absolute mind. You have no clue as to what's going on. I had a problem with my computer right here. Anyway, please pay attention to what's going on. Look at the MMRI today, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, which is, in my view, the best indicator that there is, period, the end, for gauging market risk. Okay, it came down today. All right, that does not mean that the stock market's not going to fall a little bit. If energy falls, stocks will go with it. Okay, now it's not lockstep. Doesn't mean if crude oil falls $3-4 that the market's going to fall with it. No, it kind of does this kind of thing. You understand? That's just how it works. But if crude took a big hit, well, the market's going to take a hit with it, and then you're going to see again a bombing, a terrorist attack, a refinery fire, a ship stuck in the canal, or some other horrible thing is going to happen. It always does. It always leads to the loss of human life. When crude oil falls, people die. When crude oil falls, people die. It's just the way it is. Like I said, the world is not how you think it actually functions. Okay, you're led to believe that things are what they are, but they're absolutely not. Underneath it all, it's a very dark thing. It really, really is. Anyway, on a nice note here, a lot of you have been asking about Coco. Coco's doing great. Little guy's amazing. He's so smart. He's adjusted incredibly. Anyway, look how mellow he is. I think you're going to sleep. Look at all these people. You know how many people are looking at you right now? You don't even care. You don't even care. You don't even care. Anyway, people, look. I think especially as of late, my videos have been exceedingly important. I've been covering a lot of things for you. I always cover the critical things that you got to know, okay? And I'm trying to expand your mind to let you understand that nothing is really what it seems. I've been saying the same thing for years. But I want you to honestly think about it at a deeper level. And again, understand what's happening, okay? The emergence of this two-tier society, extreme haves, extreme have-nots, a wipeout of an entire class of people, the propaganda. I was listening to CNBC earlier today, and again, they get the same talking heads out there talking about how strong our economy is, how strong the consumer is, really. Consumer debt, household debt, personal debt at record highs. People are struggling just to make ends meet. They're borrowing just to make ends meet. But again, this is all good. Debts and deficits hyper-exploding. Round after round of bad economic news. It's just beyond belief. But again, think about this is not obviously the United States of America anymore. It hasn't been for a very, very long time. Things have been changing over a long period of time, so people don't really feel it when that happens. Like the boiling frog syndrome. But I can tell you this, people, things are going to get a lot worse moving forward. So just think about what that means for you. Again, research what I say. Think about what it means for you. And if I'm making sense to you, think about what you should be doing about it. Take action, okay? Don't just sit and hope for some plan. I hope there's a plan. I'm going to trust in it. So I'm going to sit on my ass and do nothing. No, wrong. Take action. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. This channel is for winners. Everyone else can leave through the back door. I'm out of here. I will see you in the morning.